Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new weekly writing vlog. So it is currently Monday and I've been working on TSMGO revisions for a little bit now. I think I've done like 2 chapters and I'm happy with the work that I've done. The previous chapter that I just did, the ending scene of it, is one of the ones that I've already gone back to from Kaylee's notes. It's one of the ones that I did before starting this full-on read through. So I'm glad to see that while rereading it, I still enjoyed it. I think it flows, I think it works, but it's the next scene in this next chapter that might need some fixing up, because as I was writing it, I'm like, I don't quite know if I love the way that I wrote this, so this next chapter might need some adjustments. But anyway, so my goals for this week are pretty simple. I want to finish these revisions, which I'm definitely going to be able to do. I could probably even finish them today if I wanted to. I don't know if I want to. I might try to finish them tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how I feel after this next chapter and how much work it requires, because honestly it might be better than I'm thinking it is, but it also could be a lot worse than I'm thinking it is. So we're gonna see how I feel. So I may or may not strive to finish the revisions today. If I don't finish them, like if I just do maybe this next chapter, then I might try to work on Starstruck book a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. If you guys missed last week's vlog, I will link it up above in the cards for you to check out. But yeah, I would really like to work on Starstruck book at some point this week. I don't know if it's gonna be today. I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow, but I do really want to start doing some preliminary brainstorming on it and just kind of figuring some things out. But for right now, TSMGO revisions, I think I'm gonna finish them today or tomorrow, which is very, very exciting. For some reason I thought I had more left than I did, but there's 332 pages and I'm on page 308. So there's not a whole lot left to go. Maybe I should just strive to finish it today. I don't think it'd be that hard. I might just try to finish it today. Yeah, okay, we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, so I just finished that one chapter and I didn't really make that many adjustments to it. I'm sure that I could probably improve upon it, but right now I don't quite know how I would do that. I changed one little thing to try to make it flow at least a bit better, but so far I'm satisfied with it, you know? I'm satisfied, and we'll see what Kaylee says when she does a reread of the book, because she did offer to do a reread and do some line editing for me. So I did just finish that chapter. So now I'm on page 314. It's only 320, so I'm just gonna go for it and I'm just gonna finish the book today. I'm gonna finish the revisions. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's done. I'm gonna do it. And I'm feeling really good about it. Although there was a note that Kaylee gave me, and I don't actually know if I've mentioned this in a vlog. I know that I filmed a clip talking about it, but I can't remember if I actually kept it in the vlog or not. But she had a note for me where she suggested that I could open every chapter with a countdown to opening night, but that would require me doing some digging into what the timeline of the book is and figuring out what to do if a chapter contains multiple days and seeing if I would be able to break up those chapters and whatnot. And I have not addressed that yet because I wanted to finish the revisions first. My mentor Melissa still has not finished reading the book. She's been super busy, which I totally understand, but I checked in with her today and she said that the book is pretty solid. So that means that I'm not anticipating some big drastic revisions from her. So I'm not really expecting to add any scenes or take away any scenes that would affect me doing a timeline type of thing with opening chapters. So I think once I finish going through the book, I might just take a quick glance at everything and just see how many chapters I have that take place over multiple days and see if I'd be able to separate them in a way that doesn't bother me, you know? I need to find a timeline somewhere. I'm sure that I have an outline somewhere that has a timeline that I'm just gonna need to check to make sure that it's still what the timeline is in the book. I don't know if I'm gonna do that today or if I'll do that tomorrow. But now the goal is just to get to the end of the book today at least and figure that out. And maybe I'll try to go through the book and see what the whole day situation is like for each chapter, and then if I decide that I do want to do a countdown, I can try doing that tomorrow. It sounds complicated, probably more complicated than it actually will be, because I'm sure that in an outline I have a timeline. I'm thinking that for the last draft that I did, not draft 4 but draft 3, I think I have a timeline written in the outline. So I just have to hope that past me came through and wrote a timeline down so that I can figure this out. Okay, I'm gonna get back to revising. And I'm really excited to get to the end of the book. I got kind of emotional in the last chapter, which I'm finding I get a lot more emotional when I read the book out loud as opposed to just reading it in my head, which I think is why there's been a few emotional moments this revision round, because I'm reading it out loud to myself and it's just kind of making the words hit a bit harder than they normally do. Love that for me. I'm gonna get back to revising and I will update you guys later. Okay, it is now 3:56 and I have finished the revisions. It's always such a good feeling when you reach the end of the book, whether you're drafting or revising or whatever. It just feels so satisfying, and I really love this book, and I really like the revisions that I did on it, and I don't know, the ending just like makes me so happy, and I just can't stop smiling every time I read it. I just realized that on the cover page of it, the word count does not now match the end count, so I'm gonna have to fix that. So I think I still feel like working, so I think I'm gonna try to figure out this timeline countdown situation. I'm going to go on some hunting to find this timeline, but I don't know, I just think it'd be so much fun. I want to add just like this cute little touch to it, so I think I'm gonna do that right now. So surprisingly, all of my chapters only had 1 day in each of them, so like I was able to put in the countdown to opening night without having to like actually adjust any of the chapters. So that was really nice. It did take me a while to figure out how many days there were to opening night for each chapter, but like I did it, and I love it, and it's beautiful, and I'm so happy that Kaylee made that suggestion, and I'm so happy that it worked out. I don't think I'm gonna work on Starstruck book today. I think I am done for the day. Maybe I'll work on it tomorrow, but oh my god, I'm so happy. Okay, so it is now Tuesday, and I've been brainstorming Starstruck book a little bit. So I've basically just been copying notes from my phone into the notebook that I have designated for this project. It says follow your dreams, they know the way on the front. I've just been basically, like I said, copying things from my phone into the notebook, but I've also like been on the fly just coming up with new ideas just randomly. So like I know what my main character looks like now, whereas before like I had a few pictures in my Pinterest board, but when I just went to review it, they didn't quite feel right anymore, so I looked for something else, and I'm obsessed with what I found. I already know what the love interest looks like. I've had that planned out for quite a while. Imagine like 2015 Harry Styles and like long-haired James Bay. That's the vibe that I'm going for. I've never written a long-haired love interest before because it's not usually my taste, but I kind of want to play around with it, and I like it when it's like the Harry Styles vibe, you know? So that's kind of what I'm emulating here, at least in my head, and I am just like obsessed with their vibes. I also figured out that my main character is a photographer, and it's like her dream to photograph concerts, and that's like what she's mainly pursuing. I'm currently putting down like just plot ideas. I've never had like the full scope of this plot figured out. I've just kind of had like bits and pieces, the general vibes that I wanted to do, but I know that like the main tropes are like second chance romance and obviously the celebrity and normal person relationship vibe, but beyond that, like I just know some like fragmented details. I know a lot of the backstory, but I don't know a lot of like what the actual current story is about. I'm also thinking maybe, possibly, I might try to make this a dual POV book. I've never attempted that before. That's a lie. With my very first book I attempted it, but not like fully. Like I did not commit to it. I was like mid drafting, and I was like, let me just try writing a couple of like chapters in the love interest point of view. So I have done it, but like not for an entire novel, and I'm nervous about it. But as I was brainstorming, and even as I was like brainstorming just in my phone over the past however many months, I just realized that like I have a lot of story for the love interest and a lot of like goals for him. Like I have a big arc for him, and I just don't know if the story would be enough without his point of view in it. I need to figure out my main character more and figure out kind of what she's really going after and kind of what's going on in her life. But it just kind of feels like the right move. And when I think about Starstruck, not like I'm actually basing this off Starstruck, like not at all, but when I think about Starstruck, it is like dual POV. Like we see things from Jessica's point of view, but we also see things from Christopher's point of view, and I just don't think that the movie would have been as interesting if we just saw what Jessica was going through and like Christopher was just like a side, like in the background, not in the background, but like just a love interest kind of thing. So I'm kind of thinking I need to try at least to make it a dual POV. I hope that I can pull it off. And then there's also the fact that I like writing in first person, and first person dual POV is tricky because you don't want the characters to sound the same. Maybe I need to look at some books that I have that are dual POV and told in first person to see how like they differentiate it. But like my biggest pet peeve is when there are books with dual POVs and they sound exactly the same. Allegiant comes to mind, and I don't want to have that be my issue. So we're gonna try to do a dual POV situation here, and I just have to hope that I can pull it off. I might not be able to pull it off right away. It might have to be a thing where I have to like really tinker at it and get beta reading like feedback for it, but I think that's just the right move for this story. Yeah, so I think it's gonna take a while for me to like fully get this plot going. I have a feeling it's gonna be very character oriented in terms of like who the characters are really gonna influence how everything goes and unfolds and what kind of story I'm telling. And I also need to decide what parts of Starstruck I do want to bring into the book, because I do want to have nods to it. So I need to decide if I want to tell that kind of story or go my own way. When is this book taking place? Like what time of the year? I think I might browse my Pinterest board a little bit and see if I like pinned anything that could give me some inspiration. I'm listening to my playlist. Okay, I'm gonna get back to brainstorming. I don't know how much I'm gonna do today just because I've got other things that I need to do, but I'm feeling good about this overall. Like I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be a really indulgent story. Like it's gonna deal a lot with music, which I love, and it's gonna deal a lot with like kind of like fandom stuff, because obviously I loved One Direction. Like I'm a huge like fandom type person, and I'm very passionate about these kinds of things, and I think that's gonna be really fun. And then obviously it's gonna be very indulgent in terms of Starstruck. Like I'm gonna put a million little Easter eggs in there. I am very excited overall for this project, and I think it's just gonna be, like I said, a really indulgent story, a really fun story, and something that I will hopefully really love working on. Drafting is a really hard process for me, but I'm hoping that it will at least be slightly enjoyable because of how excited I am for this book and how fun it seems. So I need to figure out the plot of this book, but I don't have to do that right now. I just need to kind of get all of my ideas down that I have, so I can kind of just see everything that I have and see what I've got to work with, basically. Okay, so it is now Friday. I don't remember the last time I updated you. Was it on Wednesday? I don't know. I did not update the vlog yesterday because I was busy worrying about other things, but I did do like a teensy tiny bit of writing. I wasn't planning on it, but then like the evening came around and I was just kind of feeling really inspired and excited. So I basically came into my room, put on music very softly in the background, picked up my notebook for Starstruck book, and I just started talking aloud to myself, which is something that I love to do when I'm brainstorming a book or trying to work through a problem with a book, because by talking it out loud with myself, I'm able to like spring ideas off of myself. And that sounds really weird, but like just the act of speaking about the book out loud and talking through the ideas that I have, it just sparks other things. And that proved to be true yesterday for sure, because I was reading through all the notes that I had done the other day, and I just like ideas started sparking, and it was so much fun. And I feel like I haven't had fun writing a book in a while, or like outlining a book in a while, or brainstorming a book in a while. Like I feel like writing just hasn't been fun for me in a very long time, and I'm really hoping that this book is gonna like break that cycle for me. Yeah, so I also did research yesterday on dual POV and how to write dual POV, because I'm thinking that's what I'm doing with this book, and I've never really tried that before. I think I talked about that already in this vlog. So I did a little bit of research on that to just kind of like jumpstart it and help me figure it out, and I think it's gonna prove to be a very helpful. I figured out the love interest's last name yesterday. I've decided that he's gonna have his name, then he's gonna have like a stage name where he takes his first and his middle name, and that's what he goes by. And I've never really figured out a character's middle name before, but he has a middle name and that's what he goes by when he's on stage. So I absolutely love that. I also figured out that he has just a little bit of anxiety, which sprouted from me doing the dual POV research and acknowledging that the characters have to have like different voices and different experiences and different ways of thinking to really differentiate them, especially if I'm doing first person, which is what I'm doing. So I figured giving him anxiety would kind of be like a surefire way of differentiating their two voices, because when you're writing in the POV of a character with anxiety, in the way that I write it and the way that I experience it, it affects every single part of you and it affects their voice greatly. I discovered this while writing Lila in Reasons Why Not To. Like her anxiety influences everything that she does, and it really shows itself in her voice and in the way that she thinks. And so I think it's gonna be really helpful for him to have anxiety, just from like a storytelling perspective. But it also just made sense for his character, because I was kind of like talking about his character, and then I just sat there for a second and I was like, he has anxiety. Like that makes total sense to me right now. And I think it's gonna become my thing where love interests are gonna have anxiety. I don't know why, but in AMS, the love interest also has anxiety, but I haven't written that book yet. What else did I figure out yesterday? I came up with like some conflict, and I had written a note here the other day and I didn't quite know how I was going to pull it off, so I figured how that was going to happen. I realized one of the notes that I had made kind of resembles Starstruck, which was like completely like subconscious, and so I wrote that down. Yeah, I got some ideas for some scenes. There's another movie that I love that deals with a regular person and a celebrity. It's called Be Somebody. It's not like quality, but it's just like a good time. And so I realized I want to take like slight inspiration from a plot point from that movie. So I am just very excited because the plot is slowly coming together. The characters are forming in my head. And yeah, like I'm just very excited. I wrote a little to-do list for myself of things that I need to brainstorm, which includes a band name and albums and songs, and then my love interest's solo music and his albums and songs, and then side characters in general. I need to figure out who they are. Like I've mentioned before, I just really want this to be an indulgent book for me, a fun book for me, something that I don't put too much stress on myself for, something that I just enjoy working on. And this comes to a discussion that me and my writing group are having, my AMM writing group, about drafting, and they were talking about putting placeholders while drafting and just allowing the draft to be messy and allowing yourself to put in placeholders so that you can move on. And it kind of like really made me realize, not like I didn't realize this before, but I don't think I really thought about it too deeply, but I used to do placeholders all the time while drafting. I think I did it a lot during my first book that I ever wrote, and then a lot during Reasons Why Not To, and then I just didn't really utilize it again. And the way that I typically do placeholders is like, since I outline, I know every scene that's happening, but sometimes a scene just doesn't feel right in the moment, or I'm just not in the mood to work on it, or it's just not coming out right. And so I'll just put like in brackets saying like come back to this scene later, finish it later, or add it in later, or you know, something along those lines. And that allows me to keep the flow going and work on a different section of the book without getting stuck and annoyed. And I haven't been allowing myself to do that recently, and it's not been like a conscious decision. I just at some point stopped doing it, and in the last few years, in the last 2 books that I've drafted, it's been a brutal experience. Like, you guys can watch my NaNoWriMo vlogs from the past couple of years, and it's hard. It hasn't been going well. I hate drafting with a passion, and I feel like I did not used to hate it as much as I do now. And I'm wondering if that has a direct correlation with me not doing placeholders anymore and not allowing myself to have fun with it. Like, I think I just take it too seriously, even though I know that I shouldn't and I don't have to. And I don't know. I have anxiety. I overthink things, and I would like to stop overthinking things quite as much, you know? I've been having lots of revelations recently. I've been having a lot of fun working on this book, and I just want to keep having fun. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to be very indulgent and put all of the fangirly type things that I want and my dream of dating a celebrity and, you know, just like putting all of those feels into this book and just really have fun with it, you know, put the tropes in that I like and just, I don't know, just have fun, you know? I think that with everything that I've been going through in the past couple of years, I just really need to have fun with writing again, and I need to remember why I love writing so much. Because oftentimes when I'm in the midst of working on something, which is always, I struggle to remember why I even love doing this in the first place. Like, wanting to become an author is a choice. Writing for me is not a choice. Writing is just something that I have to do. I try taking breaks and then I just desperately miss it, and I always come back to it. So the act of like writing and being a writer itself is not a choice for me, but the fact that I want to become a published author and have it be my career is a choice. I lost my train of thought with this. What was I saying? I had like a really good point here. I think it was something about like it's a really, really hard road and I need to enjoy it. I think that's where I was going, but like I had it in much nicer terms in my head. Like nothing about publishing is easy, and so I need to find a way to just enjoy the process and remember why I love it. Because if I can't remember why I love it, then why am I doing it, you know? Like, I know that I love writing and I can list off reasons why I love it, but when I'm actually working on something and in the midst of it, when things are hard, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why do I even love to write? Why is this what I've decided to do with the rest of my life, you know? And I'm hoping that this book can be the start of me remembering why I love it so much, and I just want to have fun again. You know, I want to capture that joy that I had as a child when I would sit down and write a story and just have a blast. Like, I loved writing and I loved the act of writing, and I don't love it anymore, and I need to find that love again because drafting has become my least favorite part of the process, and I hate that. I want to enjoy the act of creating like the first form of a story. I did not mean to go on this long tangent. I literally just started this clip to talk about the little brainstorming session that I had last night, and somehow we've been having a very, very deep conversation about why I love to write. It's just one of those days, I guess. It's just one of those times. I'm just in one of those moods. Yeah, I think I've just gone through a lot in the last year, especially, and I'm just trying to remember why this is what I want to do and figure out why I'm putting myself through all of the hardships of publishing if I'm not even going to enjoy the process of creating the art. I'm sorry to get all deep on you, I did not mean to, but I'm enjoying this book and I'm excited to continue working on it. I'm video chatting Alyssa tonight and we're gonna do some writing together hopefully, and I'm hoping that in the process of telling her more about this project it will inspire a bunch of new ideas because I'm having a blast with this book. So I'm sorry that this was a long clip, I'm sorry that I rambled at you, but thank you so much for listening. I will try to update again tonight, but oh my god, I can't believe I just like got into such a deep conversation impromptu. Like that was not planned. I'm gonna go. Okay, so it is the end of the night now. I did my video chat with Alyssa and had such a good time. I love chatting with her so much. It brings me literally so much joy in the world. But we did do some work. She worked on her novel and I worked on Starstruck book, and she helped me do some brainstorming, which was so much fun. I focused on characters tonight because I feel like I need to start getting to know my characters a bit so I can figure out some plot things, because I do find that they directly obviously affect each other. So I know some side character names. I came up with a character that I didn't even know existed. I'm obsessed. I figured out what everybody looks like and I'm obsessed. I'm feeling really good about it. I came up with a band name for a band in the book, which I'm super excited about, and I think it's really cool. Yeah, I'm just so jazzed about this book. I'm so excited about it. So I think the next step will be to start the character profiles officially, which I think will happen next week. I'm very excited. Like, this project just seems to be coming together and I'm so excited about it, and it's a good time. I'm having a good time with it at the moment, and I hope that it can stay this way at least for a little bit longer. I know there will be bumps along the road, and I know that outlining is probably going to be difficult. Yeah, I'm really happy with the progress that I've made, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below what you guys have been writing recently because I'd really love to know. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!